Okay. And I think we are live. Hello, all newcomers, and welcome back, my fellow Eternians. Excuse me. I'm a little under the weather today. As always, it's me, Emperor AP. Today we are going to be reviewing the quest responses that you all sent in. This is Eternia's very first quest. If you don't know what they are, we are trying to put out challenges to our community. We are trying to create rewards that people are excited about and that help to benefit and sort of spread some of the success around. So we're trying to do this to generate creativity in the community and help us fill in some of the gaps and things that we either have trouble doing or need to do but aren't at the top of our priority list. So that being the case, the community has stepped up and has brought their A game to this challenge, and I am super excited to see what everybody says. So that being the case, real quick, we are going to review the three games that were submitted for this quest. This quest was asking to create a cultural game for the Empire of Aeternia. And so real quick, before we get into everything, I want to make sure that the stream is going well, that we are set up properly, and that we are good to go. As of right now, I'm not seeing the stream set up, so I'm hoping that we are on the right setup. If not, you guys will have to excuse me and let me know. Oh goodness. Okay, so real quick again, if you guys don't know, I have been sick recently, so as of the last couple days leading up to this, when we have everything together and we're trying to get the final results of this in, of course I come down with a little sinus infection, so that sucks, but oh, I see we are live. Fantastic. I am going to I need to change our thumbnail, but it'll be fine. We will survive without it. Thank you guys for viewing. Everybody that is in the chat, definitely hit up our chat. Let us know how we're doing. Make sure that the audio is good, that everything is set up properly, and I am going to go ahead and actually get set up on us to start reviewing these games. Now, again, there were 3 submissions to the quest, and I have to say, even though we didn't get a ton of submissions for this one, it was last minute. It was something that we just wanted to try out, starting out the year 12,024 with a bang. And so, trying to tie the community together last minute is rough. And in doing this, the 3 that we did get, I'm surprised, were pretty banger. They were some solid choices, and I think people really put a lot of time and effort into it. So again, really, before we start digging into the meat and potatoes, I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your participation in this, for trying to help us grow our community and trying to make something that is going to go forward for future Eternians and be incredibly exciting for us. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am going to go ahead and see if I can't set up getting into the comments so I can hang out with you guys and start taking questions, doing stuff like that. Let's see. One of the difficulties that I had, honestly, again, being sick, I really did not have a ton of time to deliberate on this, and so I thought about making it a vote, a live stream vote. Hey, whoever wants to jump in, whoever's thinking that they see the best one, that they would go ahead and do that. But I'm not sure if that's the way we're gonna go. Regardless, I'm excited to show you guys these. First off, we have Islamic Kingdom of New Scotland. Great to see you. Republic of Unity. Great to see you. Real quick, I am gonna see if I can't copy and paste the stream into our Discord server so that people can hang out with us real fast. Let's see. Also, one of the things that I wanted to bring up, we have not been, oh goodness, doing 2 things at once apparently is not my strong suit right now. in developing this and in trying to do it, we have not done a ton of these like community live streams in a minute, in the sense that we most recently did a couple out in our RV, but other than that, it wasn't something that um, other than introducing the throne room, we really had a chance to get into like a project together, get into a game together, get into something that we could all do live on the channel as a community. So that being the case, real quick, I'm going to jump in and get started. So, oh, goodness. Let's see. So our first one that was sent in, and I want to show you guys this. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, you guys can see it hopefully. This was sent in by TCOS. I don't want to dox anybody for here, but if you want to submit for a future quest, you do need to be a part of our prestige system. All the people who are here, I believe, have submitted and applied. We haven't processed all of their applications yet, but this is something that we're trying to do to bring together the community. So if you have talents and skills and things you want to enter, definitely submit for the prestige system, get yourself a license, and come hang out with us, have fun. Okay, so TCOS sent in effectively a sport. Now, each of these, as I go through, are going to be how I receive them. One of the things that I stressed, and I feel like it sucked because I stressed it pretty much after TCOS had already submitted their application, was effectively just to try and make the game as simple as possible. But that being the case, I think they still did like a cool job with their game, and I want to reference it and talk about it. So he says you have 2 teams of 4. So 8 total players divided up into 2 teams of 4. They each carry a 14-inch stick rounded at the end to avoid injury. The teams playing offense will have a hoop that they have to pass to each other as they go down a 50-yard field, then walk while they pass or stand still. But as long as a player has the hoop, they can't run. They will pass by spinning and launching the hoop with their stick. Once they pass the hoop, they can then run as they no longer have the hoop. The opposing team may try to intercept the hoop mid-air with their sticks, and if they succeed, they become the offensive team. At the end of either side of the field, there will be a slot to launch the hoop through. If successful, the team launching the hoop will score. If they fail, the opposing team will get the hoop. Furthermore, at any point the hoop is dropped, then the team that dropped the hoop will turn the hoop over to the opposing team. So it almost sounds like stick and hoop basketball, right? It's this sport where you have to have you have these people running down the field trying to catch this hoop from other players who have it. The players who have it are like stood still. So you see these groups of people passing down the field, standing, passing to another player that may be running and catch the hoop. As soon as they catch it, they have to stop. Another player is probably trying to get the hoop from them actively, and they throw it off again, trying to eventually get close enough to a slot that they can actually toss the hoop in for a point. Cool game idea. That is very unique. It almost reminds me of, I correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it was either an Aztec game or a Mayan game where they had a big stone ball. And they would carry, or it might have been a big stone disc. They would carry it around, and no, it wasn't stone. It was leather. It was a big leather ball, I believe, almost similar to basketball today again. They run around, and they have this ring that's connected to the wall, made out of stone, and they have to throw the ball through the hoop, and it would be almost like rugby or like football mixed with basketball from trying to throw it in this hoop. So that's super cool. I definitely love the idea of going big as far as trying to create a sport. I will say the biggest disadvantage that this one has, in my opinion, is the fact that you have to have a good bit of equipment, you have to have a good bit of people, and you have to have the proper play area to do this. Of course, if you're running around in a large field with sticks, swinging them at each other and stuff like that, you can't do it in a house. You can't do it in some small area. It says specifically a 50-yard field. So you you have to be playing this in a pretty substantial field, and that's quite difficult for us. That being the case, even getting Vitae developed, we could clear land for a field for this game, but that would be so much land use dedicated to this game. Of course, you could have it done in a garden or something else where it may be not as bad, but then you're damaging less of a waste of space, but then you're damaging the environment there. It's tough. I would say I really like the game. It's cool to have Aeternia eventually have a game like football or basketball or soccer, one of these really famous games that people love going to, super excited about. In fact, Tiffany just went to a hockey game the other day. She loves hockey and was ranting and raving about it. So seeing that kind of passion and enthusiasm for sports and the culture that they bring with them, I would love to have this. I think Eternians would rave over this. That being the case, I think it's a little bit out of our reach right now. Unfortunately, I think you're a little bit ahead of your time, T-Kaz. So I appreciate the submission, but I think this one is probably not going to go into our final two. Now, the other two are going to be our final two that we have to decide between, and these honestly are pretty tough. I'm not sure exactly what we are going to be dealing with which one will actually become the final victor, but I am incredibly excited to see and talk about it. So real quick, let me make sure that I am set up properly. You can see you guys. Hey, Arjun, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so real quick, what I'm going to go ahead and do is jump into the next game. So the next game is called Resource, and this was submitted by Aaron Whichway. Aaron, again, cool member of our community, has been here, a relatively new member of our community, I'd say, maybe within the last year or so, but nonetheless, still somebody who's made quite an impression since they've been here. And one of the impressions that they made is this game. So real quick, I'm gonna take a sip of my soup, and we will get started. Okay, so the game says you require 2 6-sided dice, paper, and a game board with 7 positions and a straight line drawn onto it, and an arbitrary amount of token resources, token trade resource. So you need to have at least one of these per player, it sounds like, so you could play with just 1 token and do a quick game. Oh, ladybug. Do a quick game with 1 token, or you could play with a set of bunches of tokens and make this a much longer game, and potentially, depending on if this is a game that Aaron thinks of as a gambling game or a game that's used to make wagers, then these resources, these trade resources, they could be rocks, they could be custom pieces, they could be whatever you wanted, poker chips. These things could be used as a stand-in for some sort of actual resource, potentially. That was something that I thought of when reading this, but let's go ahead and get into the rules. So, Aaron says the way that you play this, the first phase is there is a movement phase where ambassadors roll dice, and resource tokens are then moved corresponding to the number rolled toward the opposing ambassador's start position. So this is going to mean that as we continue moving forward, I'll stop explaining. I'll just read direct from the source. Resource tokens are then moved corresponding to the number rolled toward the opposing ambassador's start position. So you're moving. Position closest to the token owner is the start position for each ambassador. Should the number of position moves surpass 7, the remaining moves will be initiated from their respective start position. Okay, so just to make sure we're clear, quick summary. You have 7 squares in a line. Ooh, Tiffany's bringing stuff.
Cheesy potatoes.
I appreciate it, cutie. Are you hype about it?
I know.
Yeah.
Feel the bottom.
They're very warm.
It just stopped boiling.
Nice. Tiff loves cheesy potatoes.
Yeah. AP does not.
I do not love cheesy potatoes. But I got my
He
soup.
likes potatoes.
We're hanging out. Yep, that is true. I do like potatoes. French fries, delicious, prime.
Oh wow, what a typical American.
Got me.
I
Ooh,
guess German isn't that the stereotypical for Germans too? Potatoes.
maybe so. Well, Irish people.
Irish and German.
Yeah, fair.
It's just they like them differently.
Dude, everybody loves potatoes.
One
Potatoes
likes
are
it
amazing.
sliced and the other likes it mashed.
Who doesn't like potatoes? Potatoes are great.
They're the easiest thing to grow.
Mm-hmm. A real Eternian over here liking potatoes, huh? Silly.
What type of potatoes?
Those baby red ones.
Just boiled?
Yeah, I really like them boiled. If you've ever had like gumbo, amazing.
Gumbo has potatoes in it?
Mm-hmm. You can put potatoes in gumbo. No. My apologies, not gumbo. I guess you could put potatoes in gumbo. I'm thinking of a crawfish boil. My apologies.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think I've only had. What's the green one? Not okra. What is it?
There's okra. Or you can put
It is
okra in it.
okra?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little like pod looking thing.
Yeah, with the little tiny bits of circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go get you some cheesy
Well,
potatoes.
See.
Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye. You don't want to say bye? You can just wave. Wave. Boop. Come on.
Okay.
There's a fire to be put out. A fire.
So, real quick, essentially to summarize that stage, the movement stage of Aaron's game, you start off with resource. You start off with these 7 squares in a line. We're going to move our token based on the number of pieces. Excuse me, the number of the dice that we've rolled. So let's say you have 7, but you get to 12. Well, you would start with counting up the 7 all the way to your opponent's end, and then you would start back at the beginning, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then as you and your opponent keep doing this, whether you're doing it with one piece and just continually moving that one token, or whether you're starting to add new tokens to the board every time you roll, you will eventually get to the point where 2 of your tokens land on the same position. When that happens, you have to do the trade phase. Once the movement phase has concluded, and if the resource tokens occupy the same position, ambassadors will roll twice. The ambassador with the highest value will roll 2 dice, excuse me. The ambassador with the highest value will absorb deployed resource tokens into their token pool. So, you start off with 2 dice that you're rolling for the movement phase. Everybody, both people are rolling 2 dice to try and get their token up the board. Once you have 2 tokens landing on the same space, each person gets 1 die. They roll them. Whoever has the higher number takes the token from the other person. So that could end the game right there. That could be victory right there. Or if you have multiple tokens you're playing with, you're trying to absorb the other trader, the other ambassador, excuse me, that other ambassador's full set of tokens. So, in the event that the dice are equal, the ambassadors will roll again. Should trade ambassadors roll a secondary equal value set, they will initiate movement phase. So then you go back to the movement phase. If by some rare occasion, you both get a 2 on your roll, and then you both get a 2 again, you go, okay, well, we'll just go back to movement phase. No wins, no losses. It just evened out, canceled each other out. The ambassador's turn, which resulted in tokens occupying the same position, has initiative for movement phase. Should the tokens once again occupy the same position, initiate trade phase. And then here are the win conditions. An ambassador possesses all tokens, representing a triumphant return from all the trade agreements, having traded all resources in return for others of equal or greater value to the Aeternian Empire. I do think that's super dope. It's the concept that this is a very simple game. You are literally moving, you have whatever your token is. You have these 7 pieces, these 7 squares, and then you're rolling dice. For something that has Still some required equipment, but very little. This is a pretty straightforward, simple game, but something that's fun, something that's effective, something that feels like a challenge. Something where, if you see your resource tokens get taken and you just have one more token, you're going to feel yourself sweating. You're going to be a little nervous. So you're going to see if you can clutch victory from the jaws of defeat. So, yeah, I think this could be fun, especially because it, again, still requiring some equipment, but a limited amount as far as you could make this board, a sheet of paper that you have folded up in your pocket or stuck in a special, part of your wallet or whatever you carry around on you day to day. And you could take this out at any point. And then if you just have a couple rocks and, if you bring the dice with you, you can play. You can play this game. 2 6-sided die. It's pretty common to come by, especially if you have any board games in the house, or if you play any, role-playing games, anything like that. And then, of course, these 7 things, which if you have a piece of paper on you and a pencil at any time, you could draw 7 squares, and then you're off to the races. I really like this game. Again, really connecting to Eternian culture with this. It seems like Aaron's really thinking about this. I do think it's super cool. It's the concept of really trying to connect to who we are. It's this idea of a successful trade journey by the Empire. It is, this thing that while we're sending you all out on these quests in our community, this in itself returns to us almost like a quest for us to go on. This is potentially a quest for Eternians in the future. I really like this. So, absolutely cool. Super, super simple concept. The one con is that it does have a little bit of required materials to play, but so little. Again, very minimal. I think if you intentionally tried to have these things on you at all times, you could manage it fairly easily. If you just wanted to challenge somebody to something or bet something, you could say, hey, we'll each play with 1 rock, and whoever wins, whoever gets this gets whatever we're arguing about. And I think that's a super cool concept that we could have Eternian stuff developing quite that easily. Again, blows me away. I appreciate you guys. Ishray says, hello, that's cool. Thank you so much, Ishray. I appreciate it. Yeah, we are for sure trying to talk about these cool games that we have. So again, that first one was by Tikos. That is our sport game. Again, big idea, big concept, a lot of required equipment, a lot of, special circumstances having to all come together. You have to have 8 people. You have to have, these sticks, this goal, this hoop, and, enough time to sit there and play the game. A 50-yard field. So again, big idea. I think would be phenomenal if we could pull off games like that in the Empire. As of right now, we're just a little too small to do it. We even have Vitae. We have our capital territory, but right now we're having to develop her full speed for survival, for off-grid living. And so it's not super practical for us. We could always try this game, though. Not to say that we can't build this eventually into something. That's one of the cool things about this. So again, I'm not thinking this is going to be in our final selection, but it was a super cool game. Then again, going to resource. Resource is this thing that now has a little bit of required materials, but not too much, not hard to come by at all. And once you have the required materials, as long as you keep them, you can easily bring this around. Super portable, super easy to pick up a game with somebody in 5 minutes. Them not feel like it's a ton of time dedication if they don't want to. And yet it can have a little bit of excitement to it. The thing that's super cool about a sport is that everybody's constantly freaking out and cheering, and their team's right on the edge of victory, and oh no, they came back, and oh no. There's all of this excitement, all of this energy. Some of that energy I still feel is brought through with a simple game like Resource. Resource is super cool. Again, I really love this concept, and I do love that it attaches to this story about Eternian trade and commerce our goal to connect to other nations and to other peoples. So super cool. I love the idea. This is a great game. And then finally, from my friend Jet Black, someone who is not an Eternian citizen. I will say I don't think none of these are actually submitted by Eternian citizens, but they are still incredible connections to Eternia and its culture and a lot of other people's cultures. This is really interesting. One that now we're going to be reviewing is very different. Again, coming from my friend Jet, someone who isn't an Eternian but who's worked a lot with Eternia and who has been super helpful to us, super wonderful to me and Tiffany as friends. And it comes from the mind of this super creative guy. I always love seeing what Jet comes up with. He's a writer. He's been doing YouTube for years and years and years. Got myself into it for the development of Eternia. So that being the case, he has submitted to us a Eternian Psi Battle. This is effectively like a psychic guessing game. One of the things that's interesting about Jet's strategy here is that all of the other games have required at least some pieces. And one thing some required materials. One thing that's interesting about Jet's game is that it is completely a game of the mind. This is something that you don't need a sheet of paper for. You don't need, dice for. You don't need anything at all. As long as you are a conscious human being who has the capacity to understand these rules, and you're playing with someone who similarly has the capacity to understand these rules, you can play this game. Excuse me one second. So that being the case, let's jump into Eternia Psi Battle. The rules are 2 players. It's a 2-player game with no materials required. The goal of the game is to earn the most points. Each player gets 1 turn. The player must guess how many of an agreed upon item or body part are behind the opponent's back and whether or not the guess will be correct. If the turn player guesses the number correctly, they gain a remote viewing point. If the turn player correctly guesses whether or not their guess will be correct, they gain 1 precognition point. If the turn player cannot guess a number higher than the number of agreed upon items or body parts their opponent has, or a number less than 0, the turn player cannot. Oh goodness. Excuse me, let me reread number 6. I got confused there. The turn player cannot guess a number higher than the number of agreed upon items or body parts their opponent has, or a number less than 0. So I think what this is saying is this specific rule. I think, especially with body parts, it sounds like the concept that, if somebody has like 5 fingers or something, you can't say, oh, I'm gonna guess 47 fingers or something like that. You'd have to guess between 1 and 5. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Number 7, the player cannot look behind the opponent's back until after they've made their guesses. Number 8, the opposing player cannot change the number of agreed upon items or body parts behind their back during or after the guessing process. Number 9, at the end of the game, both players can accuse the other player of cheating. If they correctly describe how the opponent cheated and provide unmistakable evidence, they win the game. If you accuse your opponent of cheating, but you can't provide unmistakable evidence to support your accusation, you lose. Okay, so this one's interesting. Again, you're looking at this game that doesn't have any required pieces. It's a game of the mind. You also have this concept that it's based upon whatever is in your environment. So you can use fingers, you can use a hat, you can use, whatever it is that you want as your pieces for this game. And so the thing that's interesting about it is there's so much dynamic opportunity for this game, in the sense that while it does have some rules here, it seems like there's a lot that you can do as far as strategy in the game. So, whereas the first game again, the sport has a lot of has a lot of exciting components and again strategy that you can undertake. That one's very hard to do. I feel at our current development level. Um, Resource was interesting because it does have these rigid rules, but it's also um, more a risk game, more a gambling game. I suppose you could, um, you know, you could maybe come up with some sort of strategy for it if if you have your own homebrew rules or something, if you're trying to adapt it. But as it is, it seems like most everything in the game is based on chance, and so um, that that one um, point is really interesting because it makes the game easier for people to play and easier for people to feel that they have a chance at winning. There's no skill involved, whereas this one is almost the entire opposite. It is a game that has a ton of skill involved as far as trying to deceive your opponent and trying to be creative in your strategy as far as what items you collect to hide behind your body or body parts you use. Um, so incredibly interesting game. This could be something that really allows somebody to get to know another person. This is something that, again, would be maybe a very silly game upon first meeting somebody. I do think very, very creative. And then, let's see. It also has this almost detective aspect to it. It seems rare that rule number 9 would be evoked, but if rule number 9 is evoked, um, it seems like it is um, specifically based around like the rare opportunity that you see somebody cheating, that you know for certain that you can catch somebody. So, for example, if your friend asks, hmm, um, how many live alligators do I have behind my back or whatever, um, you know, uh, oh goodness, that's kind of a crazy one. Simpler one. How many fingers am I holding up? And you see from a mirror that's in the room, oh, that person I could tell has 3 fingers up, and so you say, hey, you have 3 fingers up, and that person says, no, I actually had 2 fingers up, and they change it. Then you can go, hey, based on the rules, you can't change the number of fingers you have, so you cheated. And it's like, how do you know I cheated? Oh, I looked in the mirror when you were doing it, and I saw you change the number of fingers you had. And that person would go, dang, I got caught. But they may also be able to go, hey, I caught you cheating. You're not supposed to look in the mirror. You're not supposed to be able to look behind my back until after the thing. This seems like kind of an interesting game. I will say the one downside it has, as opposed to Resource, is that this game, Eternia Psi Battle, seems to have a significant number more rules. This game doesn't have but you know effectively 2 phases. The rules are set up in a little paragraph, but it's basically 2 phases. This game, it seems, has really only 3 phases potentially, but 9 rules at that. So it is quite a few rules to handle there. And I think if you aren't someone who's super creative, if you're not somebody who is really really good at coming up with things on the spot, I could see you saying, "Oh, this game is boring. This game sucks." I'm gonna go up to somebody and I'm gonna say, "How many fingers do I have behind my back?" And they say, "Oh, 3." And I go, "Yep, you got it." Or, "Oh no, it was 4." Ha ha ha! Isn't that crazy? That could be very boring for people. And so I think unless you are trying to go out of the way to bend the rules or to really make the game your own with what items you're using, or even creating homebrew rules, this is something that's gonna be um, challenging mentally. Again, no real required setup, no real required materials, but you have to be creative. And so, while I do think Eternians are very creative, this puts me in a very difficult position because, one of them requires absolutely no pieces. Any Eternian, anywhere, at any time, could play Eternia Psi Battle, and that would be easy, easy as pie. On the other hand, Resource has a few materials that are required, and arguably not everybody has access to six-sided die or a paper or game board with 7 positions on it, or an arbitrary amount of trade resource tokens, although those seem like you could kind of make them out of anything. That being the case, I feel like Eternia Psi Battle doesn't quite bring the cultural connection that Resource does. When you play Eternia Psi Battle, it feels like, I think, something that is a unique game, but we would really have to make it our own in order to get people to play this game and instantly recognize it as, oh, this is an Eternian game. That's crazy. I didn't know you knew Eternian games. But Resource seems like a game that could very easily be associated with Eternia, especially if we push it as, this is our unique game. This is our cultural thing. This is a thing that's designed for us, and we want to play it with you. Then it's a unique enough game that it becomes kind of stuck in your mind as to what it is. Even though I'm sure there are games that are very similar to this, I haven't ever played a game that's exactly like this. And so I do think it's unique enough that, hey, it could be its own game. Easy peasy. One of the things that, again, I wanted to bring up, in our creation of this, our first ever quest, why on earth did we ask people to try to create a game for us? That's crazy. That's it's going to be difficult. People are going to have to take a lot of time, especially when it's so soon. We launched this quest about a week ago, maybe a day or two over a week ago. And the whole idea behind this was just to see, one, what people would submit to our very first quest, what people value out of the rewards there, and then also to see what it means for us to take on a new game as an Eternian one. One of the reasons that brought this up as the idea for our first quest is this. I want to make sure that everybody sees this, so I'm actually going to go to full screen here. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can see this. Yep, this game. This game is super cool. This is called Battle. This is what we have coined Battle. And effectively what it is, it's a game like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, if you've ever played it, where you have this hammer and this shield, and as you press the button, each one's hammer and shield goes down. And so the idea is that if you're quick enough, you should be able to knock off the opponent's head. I'll show you it real fast. Hey, like that. So, that being the case, Battle is super fun. When we had some of our recent kind of social endeavors, in particular when we had our founding day, we used this game, Battle, to have fun with the people who were there and to connect with people and to in this moment where we're trying to be really serious and highlight all the insane moments of the year and all the things, all the honors that we have to give to micronational leaders around and all of the thanks that we have to give to our citizens and all these people who have helped us. When we are reflecting on the serious nature of what we're trying to do and asking people to continue to help us, even though it's hard, even though, that can be incredibly, incredibly difficult for people to sacrifice their time to make something happen. This brought people together. This is super cool, it's super fun, and it's super creative. Now, even Battle has some required materials, because if you don't have a battle set, there's nothing you can do. You can't just make this out of nothing. This is something that is unique. You'd have to purchase this somewhere. I don't think these are hard to come by at all. Again, I got this at an arcade a while back and have just started using it, and I love it. It's super fun for, just whipping out at a party something and being able to play. But that being the case, battle is something really specific. You do have to have these materials on hand, and it's hard to describe how fun it is just by telling somebody, "Oh, hey, we had this game and it was super cool." Um, so that being the case, when going forward, thinking like, what could we actually do that would bring that a little bit further for us? What's a game that's more accessible than Battle to our larger community, and yet is something that would represent us, that would be super fun and super easy for Eternians all over the world to play? Something that when we go and visit you guys, when we go travel around and say hey to new Eternians and visit old Eternian friends, that we can bring this game with us, that we, don't need a lot of resources and materials at any point. If I run into an Eternian, not at a special event, not at a, thing, if I just down the street, hey, what's going on? I could sit down with them for half a second and play Battle if I brought it with me. Excuse me. If I had to play Battle, I'd have to bring it with me, is what I'm saying. One of the games that we wanted for this quest was something that I could just play right off the bat. Something where I don't have to carry around this big piece of material with me, big piece of equipment. Something that's kind of going to be in the way. I can't just stick this in my pocket. And so trying to combine the right amount of Eternian culture and unique game mechanics and excitement versus the amount of materials you have to have on hand in order to play is really tough. That's why, again, thinking about the sport that TCOS brought up, again, super fun, super exciting idea, but it is so much more than this. I have to bring, a lot of equipment to play TCOS's sport. And so while I'm excited to play that game eventually, it'd be super cool to do for like an Eternian outing one day. I think we want to go with something a little simpler. So, down to the final two candidates. Who will our victor be? Who will be determined to be the victor of the first Imperial Quest? Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because we are revealing the victor. For the Empire of Aeternia's first quest ever, and for the year 12,024, the winning game, the victor, and to all the spoils go, Resource by Aaron Whichway. Aaron, the game was great. I love it. I think it's super cool. Again, Jet, your game absolutely fantastic as well. Super creative, and I would love to do more with it in the future. But Aaron, the game's very, very good. Resource feels like something that comes out of Aeternia. It's not just something that is created for it, but it really feels inspired by the community, and it feels like something that, while it does have a small barrier to entry, it's not a lot, and I think we could even facilitate some of the playing of that game. We could, if we went to a large enough group, bring a ton of dice and just start handing dice out to people and trying to encourage them to play this game. We could, bring our own dice with us very easily. Just a little, bag in my pocket that has the dice, a folded up board, and, bag, folded up board, the dice, and then, I could bring a couple pebbles or something. And then, if we're playing a bigger game, then we bring, we go to somewhere that has more pebbles or something. That's super cool. How direct the game is. Again, it doesn't take a lot of explaining. It's something where I can tell somebody, hey, you want to play Resource? Oh, what's Resource? Oh, it's an Eternian game. Here, I'll set up our little board here. We each are going to roll these 2 dice. And whatever we roll on, we're going to have to move our little token here up the board. Once we get to the other side, we just start over and keep doing it. Once two of our pieces land on the same piece, the same square, then we have to trade. And when we're trading, we are each rolling a dice to see who gets the higher dice and taking the result. If we land on the same number for our dice, we re-roll. If we get the same number again, we just start back to movement, and it goes all over again. So that's a 2-minute explanation. It's easy to show once you start getting into it. It's not like there's really a huge disadvantage for somebody who doesn't know how to play. You don't have to be skilled at playing Resource. All you have to do is sit down and roll the dice. And so there's really no telling what kind of outcome could happen from Resource. And it's a super fun game. I love the concept. I love the idea. And I am excited to incorporate it as a new cultural game for the Empire of Aeternia. We're gonna take it and run for certain. I can't wait to start having our own little resource kits, potentially selling our own little resource kits on the Imperial market. So if you guys would love to get your own resource kits, definitely let me know. We can set up a nice little thing and get to playing. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and I will see you all next time. Again, glory to the victor, Aaron Whichway. I'm excited to be using Resource, and I will get in touch with you for all of your rewards. Again, Aaron is going to get a celebration on our website. Of course, this live stream, thanking him so much for his submission. And again, pitting him against these other creators and their games against each other really isn't fair, because they're all great games. They're all great ideas. It's just more about which one is best for us at this stage of development. 2-3 years ago, Jet's game might have easily won, just because absolutely no resources required, easy enough to play. We could play it on stream, but even now we could do a lot with Resource. So Resource feels like the right mix for us. Enough complexity that we can get a lot of hype around it, and enough energy around it, but simple enough that we can play at any time. So thank you so much, Aaron. Again, I'm going to be getting with you for those rewards, and for just thanking you for helping our nation. So again, if you guys want to check out more quests, you should definitely do so on our website. We have a quest forum. I can actually bring that up and show you guys in case you want to hang out for the next one. So let's go to our website, our handy dandy website. And you're thinking, oh, AP, you didn't show your screen. That's crazy. Well, I'm showing it now. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we're here at the Imperial Market, our website. And eternianempire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market. If you wanted to know, here is the page for the Prestige system. Now, the Prestige system is effectively our licensing system. It is a system designed to unify micronational trade and diplomacy. Now, you can see we haven't done a ton to this web page yet. We're hoping to update it with a lot more information and with some cool designs just to show off what the Prestige system can do. But the Prestige system is a network of individuals and nations connected to the Empire of Aeternia, which allows ease of access to resources outside their own national boundaries by way of a trusted, verifiable third party. So we're trying to create this large resource network, and we're trying to do so with people who are verified through us. So, if a quest comes out on our quest forum, whether it's by us or whether it's by someone else in the Prestige system, someone who has the certain level of requirements necessary to post a quest, that whatever the reward posted for that quest, you are guaranteed. That's something that you're going to get. You don't have to feel shady about. You don't have to feel worried that a quest is shady or that it's not a good source. That we have direct contact to these people, that we know their names. We are well connected to them, and can contact them for any complaints or deal with whatever comes our way. The same thing for our people who are applying for these quests. Quests can be anything from, like today, creating a cultural game for the Empire, all the way to, hey, I need a website built, or hey, I need this logo or flag designed for my nation. Having a way to connect the people who need things with the people who have them is going to be super powerful for us, and so we want to do this in as safe a way as possible, and also as hands-off a way as possible. So that has been effectively the way that we're doing this. If you want to sign up for one of those licenses so that you can start participating in quests, you either can sign up for the Journeyer's license, which is the easiest to get. It just says, hey, I want to do stuff and apply for quests in the Empire as an individual. And so you can fill out the Journeyer license application completely free and get your digital Journeyer's license completely free and start applying for quests. Next is the Dignitary's license. That is for foreign dignitaries, specifically representatives of other nations. This one is a more advanced application. This one is, there are a little bit more requirements to it because it is our sole contact to another national entity. A group of people who declare themselves an independent state, and we are trying to negotiate and barter and deal with those people on a national level, on all matters of foreign policy, from trade to social policy and so on. That means that person is our road to that nation, our connection to them, our single point of contact. So that is a little bit of a higher requirement. Actually, both journeyers and foreign dignitaries can get access to posting quests as well. It is just a more upgraded license that has a fee to it, and that we again do further background checks and verification on. So that being the case, the prestige system is one of the newest things that we're bringing forward in 12,024, and that we hope really helps the community. And if you're looking to get something done as a micronationalist, you have a one-stop shop to go to. You have a place that you can work with and that will help you to develop. So again, thank you so much for being here, everybody. I have a sore throat. I've been sick, so my throat is killing me. But I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Again, we are going to be doing a lot more here with quests and with, in general, games for the Empire. So if you want to check out those future quests, definitely subscribe to us, definitely like this video, definitely send it to others who you think might have a penchant for it. Again, one of the big things with this prestige system and with doing all of these quests is that it may help nations and people who have resources to offer. If you have a skill that you can offer to people, there is a place where people are looking for it. So again, we're excited to get that started and fully developed in 12,024, and we want to keep hearing from you. So if you like these live streams, if you want us to do more event-based live streams like this one, where we're reviewing submissions from the community, where we're doing more stuff like that, definitely hit us up in our Discord. The link is below, to let us know how you feel about things, to talk to us about your nation, and of course to apply to these quests to really interact with our community. Once again, thank you so much for being here. All Aeternian citizens, I appreciate you, and Aeternia forever. And then as well to everybody else here, again, especially Aaron Whichway, who is the victor of our first ever Imperial quest. Aeternia forever. See you guys. Okay. And I am shutting down. See you guys. Aeternia forever.